the mountaintop experience. Thank you guys. We might have said it was going to be a while, and actually, what do you say? We underestimated ourselves.
Yeah,
And
we
that
did.
happens sometimes. You think something's going to be, whoa, it's going to take forever. And then we did it in the exact same time. Now, I won't say I feel the same way, but we did it in the exact same amount of time. So some of you may be popping on late because we said it was going to take longer, but thanks for putting on your notifications. It's
Yeah.
Gerald and Yvette from Gerald and Yvette Ministries. It's the mountaintop experience. Yes, we did good time. Actually, we've been up here a little while. We're wiping off sweat, stretching, figuring out where we wanted to sit. We're not on the ground today.
No.
We found a bench.
Yeah.
We the ground was not going to get it today.
Not today.
Not today. I already knew
Not
not
today.
to ask him. I already knew not to ask him to get on the ground. So we waited until a bench was available. So that's why the sun is shining on the top of our heads. So thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Facebook,
Ooh, you
for
glistering.
I'm glycering. Yeah.
Is that glory or is that sweat?
We'll call it glory, but I'm pretty sure it's not. And
Oh.
it's actually really nice out today.
Yeah, it
But
is.
because we pushed ourselves um, pretty far, we're still sweating quite a bit because it's like 66 or 60, about 65
I
degrees.
don't feel like that.
It feels warmer.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think we're in the 70s right now
Okay. Well, it's beautiful.
because this sun is not a joke right about now.
Ooh, so thanks for sharing. So, do you want to hear what God was saying on the way up? Oh my goodness, He's saying so much. We walk up the mountain for those who are new to the mountaintop experience. Um, we walk up the mountain on our behalf, but really, God has given us the assignment for now to walk on your behalf. Walk on
Yes.
behalf of the difficult terrain people have to go through, the difficult uh, things God asks us to do to really overcome, what would you call it? To really overcome what God is doing.
A lot of obstacles. I
Yeah,
mean, a lot of stuff that you have to push um,
we all
to
do.
get to where you need to be. And it's
Yeah.
sometimes it's a struggle. And sometimes, um, you can think that the path is going to be a lot easier
Mm,
because you felt like you don't went up the rough part of it.
Jesus.
But then you end up hitting another patch. And the getting to where you need to be, there's a different push. We've been
Wow.
talking about a shift and an adjustment, and God is really adjusting and shifting us, um, even the thinking,
Yeah.
the way that we feel about the things that He's asking us to do, is starting to change. And walking up this mountain, we started out, we were walking because we wanted to get in shape. We wanted to, God speaks to us on this mountain, but
Definitely.
God started revealing that it's more
More
than
than
just
just.
walking up this mountain for yourselves. It's more than just, declaring for yourselves. It's a people that I'm calling for you to walk for, to declare for. And so we don't take it lightly.
Hmm.
And all I heard was God saying push, because I'm not going to lie. I pulled my hamstring over vacation, and it's still kind of bothering me. And I kind of figured that walking up this mountain was going to be a real stretch for me.
Challenge. Yeah.
And so I was preparing my mind, but I couldn't even prepare my mind for it, because once you get on it and once you get to it, it's like, okay, God says push, because I'm telling you, I ain't gonna even lie. I'm trying to tell Yvette, come on, let's go push long strides, do all of this, all this. In the back of my mind, I'm saying, man, this really ain't no joke. I feel what she's doing, but I'm trying to lead by example, by opening up my strides, by pushing myself harder. And I'm saying, you got to push a little harder. You got to go in a little bit deeper. And then I started declaring over our bodies. Our bodies are temples. I started declaring that no weapon formed against us will be able to prosper. Sometimes you got to start speaking to yourself. Sometimes you got to start declaring to yourself. Stop
Jesus.
declaring over somebody or doing it for someone else, or doing it for a situation. But you got to start declaring for yourself, because you need that strength. You need that energy. You need that
Right.
push. And so if I wasn't declaring for myself, I wasn't gonna be able to lead lead by example to her, and to be able to hold her hand and to hold her up, because it's sometimes, you don't know who you might have to hold up.
Oh, Jesus.
You don't know what you might, but let me tell you something. It's worth it. Because when you start doing it and you start holding, you don't even know you're holding until God tell you, I need you to do this for this reason. I need you to do it for this reason. And God gives you these reasons. And these reasons aren't just to be giving you reasons, just to be giving you something to do. It's because he wants you to reach a person. He wants you to reach a people. And so this walk and this journey up the top of this mountain is about this push and this stride to get to the top. It's to get to the top, and there's rough patches, and there's obstacles that's going to be in your way. So you're going to have some days where you tired. You're going to have some days where you want to give up. You're going to have some days, but you got to start talking to yourself. You got to get yourself to the goal. I kept saying, God, I'm reaching. I'm gonna reach this mark. Listen. I'm gonna finish this race. Every little word that was in the Bible about finishing, about reaching the mark, reaching the goal. I kept saying it to myself because I had to say it to myself because I didn't want her to want to stop, to want to quit, but she wasn't wanting to. It was just that, okay, I needed to push a little bit harder, because now I'm in a place of leading. Most people are like, well, what about that time when you weren't leading? Okay, this is the time where I have to lead. I'm in that season. It's a shift when God is saying, this is the season I'm gonna need you to declare. I'm gonna need you to declare over yourself. I'm gonna need you to declare over the situation. I'm gonna need you to pray a little harder. I might need you to fast. Strategies.
And what I kept hearing is, it's all for your good. It's all for your good.
All of
And
it.
if you focus in on something being for your good, then it'll override some of the difficulty. What was happening was, there's an attack, really. I'll say, I felt it the 2 weeks ago, and then one of my mentees mentioned to me that when she was praying, that she felt like there was an attack on me specifically when we come up the mountain, because my body doesn't have trouble coming up the mountain, but I start to struggle to breathe. So as soon as we started walking, there was kind of an attack on my breath. So we're not, the reality is, if you just say, well, there's an attack, so I stop. No, that the attack doesn't change the assignment. The attack doesn't change what was asked of me. The attack doesn't change the expectation. So it meant maybe go a little slower, maybe talk to myself. But what I realized coming up was, although the attack was on my breath, when I was trying to talk, when I was trying to say something, it got worse. So parts of our struggle, we need to just be quiet. We need to just listen. We need to just focus in on the goal. I knew that every step was getting me closer. I knew that every step was getting me toward the end. I knew that I wasn't gonna stop. I wasn't gonna stop. And it does make a difference knowing that you all are waiting on us. I will tell you, it makes a difference. It's
Stopping
not
is
just
not an option.
it's not just for me. So knowing that, okay, it's not like we can just broadcast and not go. It's not like God's gonna change his mind. So I just stopped talking. I realized I was wasting my breath. So sometimes when we're complaining, sometimes when we're arguing, sometimes when we're whining, we are actually wasting the breath, the
That's
strength
good.
we need to keep going. So our stopping has really been hindered by our whining.
I gave you 5 on that one.
You got that?
Yeah, that was deep.
Because we do.
That was
We
deep.
take some time
That was
to
deep.
whine and complain. We take time to argue and say negative things, and it is actually taking away the strength that we need, the breath that we need in certain times. There are times in this race that I have to decree and declare, and then there's times in this battle I just need to be quiet, and we have to be able to discern which one. We have to be able to discern, is this a time to stay quiet? Is this my time to just listen, because I need my strength? I couldn't waste my breath telling Gerald, things like, because what I could have been saying all the way up is, I wish we didn't have to do this, or I can't believe you guys asking us to do this, or maybe we should go back, or I can't, I don't feel like doing this today. Those are the things that I could have said. And those were things that came to my mind. But we've been, in my mentoring group, we've been talking about pulling down strongholds. Thoughts in our mind can become strongholds if we let them.
Mm.
Thoughts in our mind can become strongholds if we just let those things linger. So I pulled it down. Every time it raised its ugly head, I pulled it down and I kept breathing. I pulled it down and I kept walking. The only time we stop is to take one picture. We take a picture on the way up, and that's the only time we stop. Now we went a little bit slower here and there, but we only stopped to take one picture. But I didn't say much. Just like 2 weeks ago, I said I didn't say much. For whatever reason, that's what God has me doing. And he just said it's for your good. And when we were looking for what's behind us today, sometimes we show you all beautiful pictures of the mountaintop, and that's great. Sometimes we show you the scenery, but today God said, that's not what we're showing you today. That's not what we're showing you today, because everything is not peaches and cream, and whoever told us that lied. He said he'd be with us. He said it's going to be for our good, but he also said press toward the mark of the high calling. Press toward the mark. So today's vision is really a vision of some of the terrain. Can you guys see it? There's a lot of sun, so we can't see if you can see it. Can you guys see it?
Yeah,
There's some terrain.
Y'all see that YouTube?
There's some terrain back there. There's some trees. There's some hills to climb.
See those people back there walking?
There's some people walking. Could you see it? Could you see it? Could you see the difficulty? Could you see the mountain? Could you see the trees? Could you see the roots that were trying to get in our way? Behind some of that is a whole lot of rocks. It's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot to overcome. So when you see that, you have to realize everything's not going to look like a beautiful mountaintop. But you have to remember, here's where you learn. You have to remember that there is a mountaintop, that there is a view, that last time we broadcast, it was beautiful. So put it in your mind that there are parts of this journey that are beautiful. There are parts of this journey that we're going to see something wonderful. There are parts of this journey that are breathtaking, but then there are parts of this journey that are breathtaking.
That was good too. That was a good play on words. Listen, I was hearing her when she was talking. The God gives us the vision. He shows us things, and they're like, "Oh my God, this is beautiful. I see it, God. You told me you was gonna do this. This is what." But then you have to go through something. That's like I know what the top of this mountain looked like, but when I started at the base of this mountain and I started walking, it's like, okay, God, I know what you showed me. Is there your flesh is there another way?
Ooh.
Can I take another way? Can I take an easier way?
Can this
But
cup?
God says, no. I need you to go. I need you to take this path. I chose this path for you. And why did I choose it? Because I'm building something in you. It might be character, might be perseverance, might be faith, might be strength.
Some of it might be reaping. I had to tell a couple clients this week, and they said, well, so-and-so is doing this and they didn't have to do that. And how come it looks like this person and that person don't have to deal with? And one thing that a lot of people don't hear in churches enough, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. We are reaping. I know I've done some things in my life that didn't line up with God. I knew exactly what I was doing. I was living in sin. I was doing some things I had no business doing. There are some generational sins in my bloodline, and we are, reaping for things that our ancestors have done. So some of the things that we're going through are just purely reaping, and we have to keep that in mind. Now, do we do everything we can to not continue to have to reap? Do we do everything we can to get God's grace, mercy, and favor? Do we do everything that we can to cleanse the bloodline so we don't have to continue that and our children don't have to continue it? Absolutely. But some things are just going to be rough because it's just going to be rough. But that doesn't mean we stop, and that doesn't mean we give up. That doesn't mean we whine and complain. It just means we keep on walking, we keep on praying, we keep on decreeing, we keep on declaring, we keep on believing.
Key. Every one of those, everything you just said is very, very strategic.
Yeah.
It's strategic, and the enemy he comes against all of that. You think about your joy. You think about your peace. You think about your strength. You think about all of the things that the enemy has
Eeh.
literally tried to take away from you. And sometimes he hones in on one thing because he knows if I can hone in on this one thing, I got him.
Oh
And if I
Lord.
get them, then I get other people. Because then you'll go. I'm telling you, because we're creatures of habit.
Yep.
He knows it. He knows your character. He knows your personality. Why? Because he's been hanging around it long enough.
Yeah.
He looks at and he tries to find your traits. What are the things that get you to slip up? What are the things that'll get you aggravated? What are the things that will make you get tired and weary, and
True.
then you start using your words. He'll use your words against you, because
Wow.
you'll start saying things like, that's why he was telling me, keep saying press toward the mark. I got strength. My body is a temple. We no weapon form. I'm saying those things because I could have easily said, oh my God, this is tired. Oh, my hamstring. And then when I get home, my hamstring start. I say blood is flowing. The old blood is being pushed out, and new blood is flowing through my body,
Come on,
my muscles, my
Jesus.
tissues, my vessels, all of my veins.
Come
It
on,
is it's being
Jesus.
it's lining up. I say I can speak to my body, and my body has to line up. Why? Because I have authority over my body. God created us to have authority over our bodies and speak to our bodies. And I told my body, you got to line up. I don't care nothing about the hamstring. I don't care nothing about my calves start cramping. Not one calf, but both of them start cramping. So I started talking to my the devil's. He was telling me, you ain't getting enough. You didn't get enough water. I'm finna make you um lose. And so it's that place. It's that place where God is trying to really have you to use your words and choose your words wisely.
Yeah.
You can't just because you in your feelings and say something, and the enemy is a legalist. He will use it against you.
True.
He will use it against you. So when you keep saying, "Oh, I'm just too tired," he gonna use that same thing to keep you tired. Gonna keep you tired, not just make you tired, but to keep you tired. And then it
Jesus.
feels like you can't never come out. But God says the devil is a liar. I'm the one that gives you strength. I'm your strong tower. I want you to lean, rely, and trust in me. I want you to use the words that I put into your mouth. It says, as the man thinketh, so is he in his heart. So what are the things that we're thinking on? I had to think about the scriptures that I needed to use to get up this hill. I had to think about my wife because my wife was struggling, so she couldn't talk. So I had to start declaring. So I'm not only declaring over my body, but I'm declaring over her body. I'm saying that her body is a temple of the Ghost. There's no weapon formed against our bodies that will be able to prosper. Not over our minds that we're gonna talk about, we want to give up, we want to quit, we want to turn around. No, that's not happening. That's not happening. That God has put a mandate on our lives and put something on our lives to be able to affect other people. And
So what did God put on your life?
come on,
What has God asked you to do?
what it
I
is.
did a post earlier this morning and said God would never ask you to do anything that was going to hinder you or hurt you. He's not going to ask you to do anything that will harm you. He's not going to ask you to do anything that's not going to be for your good. So when we start to think, okay, I know God said this, but I can't, but I won't, but it's too hard, it definitely can get hard. It definitely will put a strain on you. It'll definitely cause you to feel like you can't press forward, but you can.
Yep.
But you can and you will. But you can and you will. And so when we walk, we represented you. So this week, whatever you thought you couldn't do, we already walked on your behalf. Whatever you thought you couldn't handle, we already stepped on the terrain. Whatever you thought was going to take your breath away, we already overcame it. We already overcame it on your behalf. So therefore now it's your turn. Tag, you're it. We're handing you the baton for your family. We're handing you the baton for your marriage. We're handing you the baton for your situation, your ministry, your circumstance, your surroundings, your mountain, your gifts, your calling. We've handed you the baton. It's your time.
I,
It's your time.
I saw a declaration on there that was, we can and we will.
Yes.
We can and
And
we
we
will.
will. That's your declaration.
Come on now.
I can and I will. Make it personal.
Come on.
I can and
And
I
I
will.
will.
God said it.
Ooh.
God said it. I can and I will.
Come on.
All week long, I can and I will. When your mind tries to tell you something different, I can and I will. Because God said you can do all things through him.
Ooh.
You can do all things through Christ because he strengthens you. You can do all things. You can and you will. So anytime, that is anytime. Oh, I love it that you're participating.
Come
I
on.
love it.
I can and I will.
I can and I will. I can and I will.
You really telling yourself,
I
I
can
can and I
and I
will.
will.
And you literally telling the devil,
I can
and
and
I
I
will.
will.
And
Yay!
he's looking at you like, oh my God, they can and they will.
Oh
Oh, that's
Lord,
a whole nother fire.
that is fire.
That's a whole nother
I
fire.
can and I will. I can and I will. Well, it is all for your good. God said, press toward the mark of the high calling. We're on the mountain. There's terrain.
There you go.
There's difficulty. Your marriage will work if you work it. You can and you will. You can and you will in your marriage. You can and you will on your job. You can and you will in your ministry. You can and you will concerning your finances and your business. You can and you will, because God's got it for you. God's strengthened you. God's spoken to you. It's in God's perfect will for you. Therefore, don't give it up. Don't give it up. You got to press. You got to press.
Take back what the enemy trying to get from you. I can and I will.
Yes.
I can survive and I will take it back.
I love that.
I can prosper and I will prosper.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. So we're going to show you one more time. You know, normally we show you mountaintop, but sometimes we got to show you
not a you will.
What you overcome, the terrain, the difficulty, the trials, the tribulations, and that's okay too. Declare over it, you will not stop me. Declare over it, you will not hinder me. Declare over it, I see you, but you are not bigger than God. Difficulties, you're not bigger than God. Trials, you're not bigger than God. What I see, you're not bigger than God.
Not at all.
Not at all. You are able. I can and I will.
Come on.
I can and I will. I know what it looks like.
Devil,
I'm not even afraid of that.
I will.
Woo.
God telling you, you can and you will.
Woo.
Think about it. If you think about the word of God, it can prosper and it will prosper.
Yes.
You can overcome and you will overcome. You can come out and you will come out.
Yes, yes.
Come on.
That's really awesome. That's really awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for being with us, for waiting for us to get to the top of the mountain, for sharing this on your pages to let other people know I can and I will. I'm pressing toward the mark. All of this is for my good. I'm overcomer. I'm doing what God has called me to do. I'm believing in my marriage. I'm believing in my ministry. I'm believing in everything God promised me. I'm believing in the vision. I'm believing in the word of God.
Yeah, YouTube, they going in on it.
Come on, YouTube.
I mean, they making
Facebook.
it personal.
You got to catch up. Make it personal, Facebook.
YouTube is making it personal.
Yes.
I mean, they putting their work in on it. I like that.
I like
Keep going.
That. Good
Keep
job.
going.
Make sure you've shared it. Make sure you let other people know they can and they will. When you do it,